What's going on? No, you do it. I like when you do it.
I think we're going with that. This is the Gainz Podcast. We're switching it up. Mr. Rominsky Long is starting off with the intro today, and we are we're queuing right now. He said me to start it. He just started it for us. So how y'all doing today? Hope everyone's doing well. Another great episode 17, coming at you live. I'm Antoine. This is
Roman.
Not Rominsky. He doesn't like that. That's just an inside joke. So, but this episode is just called not only just called Just Move, but called Just Move. I don't know why I put just call it.
Just Move.
We'll just call this Just Move. Another great episode. If you guys haven't been following us on the Instagram, you guys got to start following us. You know,
yeah,
this is
some big updates, folks.
And it's free knowledge. Like, come on now. Like, why would you want to listen to Tony Robbins and, Eric Helms, Greg Knuckles? You know what? Just go follow Gainz Podcast. We're very intelligent human beings. So go ahead and check us out. Roman just put up Short Gains. So if you haven't checked that out, well, it's already up by the time you're listening to this and watching this. So check that out if you haven't already. And then hopefully by the time you're seeing this, Roman and I will have Short Gains, another episode of Short Gains from the both of us out by the time this is out.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. It's not going to be always 100. The goal is never going to be 100% accurate, but we'll try doing it if our schedules align. And also, this episode is going to be released on Valentine's Day, guys. So make sure you're making sweet love to those gains.
Yeah, smash that heart button. Yeah,
smash that heart button on our Instagram page. Like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube channels. And if you're feeling extra lovey-dovey, send it over to your partner in your relationship. Or if you're not seeing anyone, send it out to your lady friends or your guy friends that you're talking to right now. I know this is not going so far, but my friends have a great podcast you should listen. That's probably not the advice I should give you. Don't do that unless you guys have a serious partner and they want to make a next move to the health and fitness lifestyle. So this one, Just Move, is going to be about general movement. Maybe you've heard this, maybe you haven't, 10-minute walks, and as well as step counters, fitness watches, etc.
Might cover some fitness apps.
Fitness abs, he said, not apps.
Abs, yeah.
Roman's got a six-pack right now. Six-pack shortcuts by Roman Long coming soon.
It's more like I got a cake going on at the moment. That powerlifting belly.
And that powerlifting butt.
Yes.
that you love to mention.
Yeah.
The pants are getting tighter, folks.
Hashtag booty gains.
Oh gosh, but let's start off with general movement. We'll kind of, Roman and I will go in and out. We'll probably mirror/reflect on some of the comments or whatever. But first we'll just go over like general movement. Pretty much as you guys do listen to us, we talked about having the neat part of your lifestyle, but movement could be more of, in fact, a better health situation you want to be into overall throughout your days, especially if you're like Roman and I and we're sedentary pretty much 40-plus hours a week. Movement is a really good tool, and movement meaning walks, doing other things than just working and lifting and just trying to get your activity up. I like to say this is good for either bulking or cutting, because when you're bulking, you're eating a lot, but you still want to have those healthy mindsets and those goals when it comes to moving. So general movement is going to allow you to just, do more walks, do more runs, walk the dog, walk with a friend, leave work for 30 minutes and walk around. Do whatever is more enjoyable to you.
It doesn't even have to be 30 minutes. It could be just like a 10-minute walk.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to be going in 10-minute walks, but, and you could break it up on however you like, as well as I know people are busy, and I'll go over after Roman talks about like general movement and like 10-minute walks. But I'll probably go into like what I do, because like because I do get the ability to work from home. Like sometimes like it's not beneficial for me to do multiple small walks. It's just one long walk so I can get in my movement for the day before I train or do whatever, because I'm working from home, so I don't have so much time to be away from my home office. But pretty much that's what I wanted to say about general movement, as well as like, you know, kind of lead yourself in the cardio. Do something that you like, that, you know, we've mentioned and embraced a lot, is like do something that you enjoy. Like say if you want to just general movement, say if you wanted to, you know, decide that if you live by the train station, if you're commuting downtown, hey, I'll walk instead of drive, or hey, I'll ride my bike to the train station instead of drive. Or if you work in the suburbs and if you live close by, hey, I'll walk to work instead of, you know, driving, to save gas money, save the economy. I know you guys love the economy and the global situation. You guys are all activists out there on social media. Well, start walking your butts to work then. Save the gas, you know, the global situation on when it comes to burning fossil fuels in the world. I'm not intelligent on that, so I'm gonna stop talking there. Roman's like, this guy's an idiot. But no, just but in general, just you know, do something out of, you know, since it's colder in the Midwest. Sam and I like to take walks in the mall. We don't buy anything, but we're in our 20s and we're walking with the old people at the mall, around the borders of the mall. You know, that's a great experience, not only for healthy lifestyles, but when you're with your partner and you're doing that together, you guys talk more. You're in tune with each other, because when you're walking, you're not going to be sitting on your phone watching TV. You're going to be learning from one another, and make sure everything's aligning with life, because if you're not doing that, you're not making an effort. So I just said that on the spot, because that doesn't even, it didn't click with me, but now it makes sense, because like during the winter time, Sam and I walk all the time in the mall and we just talk, because I mean, in a relationship, I guess you're supposed to do that. Maybe if you have time to talk to one another, you know, most of the time just eat dinner and just go to sleep and just...
You're just grunting between...
But what's your side of general movement to kind of start us off?
All right, I have an official statement from the Gainz Podcast.
I thought he was going to say a case study, but I looked at the notes. It's okay. He's not... Yeah, I was going to say, like, well, I did a case study. If you're 180-pound male...
Thought about it, but I didn't. Sorry, folks. If you like the case studies...
we love them. I love them.
We'll get you next week.
Yeah, we'll get them next week.
All right, the unofficial official statement of the Gainz Podcast, which was made up by Roman and not approved by Antoine by any means.
I'll approve it right now. Let's just approve it right now. So, I like it.
In light of technology allowing everything that allows us to do, it's helped us and hindered our overall health. Generally speaking, we move less and eat more. This has resulted in an environment where it has become more easily available to habitually consume an excess of highly palatable foods, really yummy stuff, and thus develop diseases related to the state. Generally speaking, we need to move more and eat less. But is it that simple? So we'll go over some general movement practices, like the 10-minute walk. I've got a video from Stan Efferding, the Rhino, where he talks about 10 different ways a 10-minute walk can benefit you in your day. Do you want me to just jump right into it?
Yeah, if you want. I mean, go right into that, and they'll like tie in. That's why I didn't want to talk too much, because I didn't want to tie into the 10-minute walks. But yeah, let's go into that.
All right, and then I have a comment that I made about general movement, like walks, climbing trees, carrying items, being fundamental to everything that it is to be human, key to our overall health. It helps load our muscles, connective tissue. It can slow or prevent the state of atrophy, meaning like the wasting of muscles and tissues. Also, it's usually talked about like with sarcopenia, which is the age-related reduction in muscle tissue. So general movement can help to reduce or prevent that for a while.
And would you say for like older folks too? Like
absolutely.
General movement in general God, I knew I was going to say that. General movement in general would be like helping the older generations too, or the older populations to not get that atrophy that you were saying.
Yeah, some of the oldest populations on the planet have some sort of like walking practice. Some will walk like further. Like for example, I know like many older couples that'll live like, because I kind of come from a beach town, they'll live like, a mile from the beach. They would walk, the mile to the beach. They might walk a little bit on the beach and then walk the mile back. They would do that every single day, no matter the conditions.
And just like that, that's, probably 3+ miles, and that's
living into their 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
There's some populations in many like Asian countries that they're like, they're small, but they like live well into their hundreds. And that's usually a central tenet in their daily practice.
And also, if you guys are a follower of Mark Ripito, I mean, his statements are kind of bold, but I was watching a video about his reasoning on why old people are in retirement homes. It's because they don't lift, they don't have muscles to carry themselves along. Yeah. And I think what Roman is saying kind of makes sense, what Mark Ripito is saying. Like, if you can't walk or if you don't have the muscles to, then you probably can't take care of yourself, especially if you already have all those aging issues.
Yeah. He has actually some really impressive clients that are well into like their 80s. I think he like posted about this recently. He's a really interesting guy. If you haven't checked him out, Mark Ribiteau, Starting Strength. But
that's a book, right? Starting Strength.
Yeah, he has a book. It's also his brand. He's somewhere in Texas.
Yes.
He says it a lot. So
I know it's somewhere in Texas. I really wish I knew he was in there. I probably would have went to his gym.
Yeah. He has like his own cert that you can take his own classes. But he has a client who's like 93, I think. He'll call her every once in a while, and he's like, "Are you still doing your deadlifts?" And she does. She like deadlifts like 115 or 135 pounds, like well into her 90s. And he does have a really good point, because like one of the leading causes of death for elderly people, I believe, the precipitating event is a fall. So usually it's a fall, breaking your hip. My mother works in the healthcare industry, so she'll tell me like all the time, like, "Oh, unfortunately we had another like, older like patient come in, like they fell, they broke their hip. They might never be able to walk again." So it's much less likely that you can fall and like break a bone if your bones are healthy. What makes your bones healthy? Like regular like general movement practices, especially like resistance exercise training. That's really good for bone health.
Yeah, if you're not deadlifting 315 when you're 90 years old, you're probably not going to live long, because that's probably your life goal that you should have around this message.
There's definitely a trade-off there, but
maybe we should do something around like older generations and like kind of like go over like case studies.
That'd be really cool.
So,
really cool. Future ideas for the podcast, folks.
10-minute walks.
Yeah, 10-minute walks. All right, so Stan Efferding, you can search it on YouTube by typing in Rhinos Rant 10 Talk. 10 ways 10-minute walks will change your life. So the first thing he talks about is it's sustainable. 10-minute walk. If you don't have 10 minutes in your day, you probably need to examine your efficiency, examine your time management skills, because even the busiest of CEOs can find 10 minutes in their day where they can set aside that 10 minutes just to go for a walk. Number 2, 10-minute walks after eating improves digestion and reduces bloating. I'd say it may improve digestion and may reduce bloating. There's only one way to find out.
It just depends on what you're eating too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're eating foods that like cause you to like have flare-ups, like cause you to have like inflammation, like a bad like stomach, a 10-minute walk isn't going to cure that. But if generally speaking you're okay with certain foods, but you find that because you have a short lunch and you usually tend to pound your food, going for a 10-minute walk, well, you might want to slow down the eating process. I know sometimes I'll just like slug it back so we can get back on the phones, but it's probably not optimal for health, and going for a walk might help with indigestion. Number 3, it can help control blood sugar. So it appears that movement, especially a redundant movement like walking, It helps to potentially mobilize fuels like carbohydrates in the bloodstream, which they are going to soon enter the bloodstream after you've consumed them. It seems to help to manage that. So it might be something you look into.
Yeah, it says supposedly that the blood sugars will, because they're using that fuel source, it will lower the blood sugar overall.
Yeah, because your muscles are going to be using like glycogen stores. So I don't know the exact mechanism, but there must be processes and like feedback loops that when you consume food such as like a carbohydrate and then you perform like an activity like walking, they have to be replenished. It doesn't happen instantly. It's a process. So usually like there is a window that you can like replenish at a certain rate, and you're more sensitive after activity or exercise to replenishing glycogen stores. So it does appear that there's some sort of mechanism that allows the body to take up more carbohydrates from the blood, and too high of a blood sugar is very, very bad.
Especially those at risk for type 2 diabetes.
So people that are diagnosed with type 1 or type 2 diabetes, and then also
the kids,
those
degenerate.
those that are at risk for it as well.
I'm at risk for it.
If you're pre-diabetic. Yeah.
Not pre-diabetic, but
it's possible.
because my father has
type 2.
factor
That you're saying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's convenient, so it can be done anytime, anywhere. So Stan talks about like if he goes out to eat, he might, like after he finishes eating, obviously pay for the bill, just get up and walk out.
I'll walk out 10 minutes and then
pay. Just head out and come back. Oh, we thought you walked out. So definitely pay your bill, folks. But he'll walk 5 minutes out. He'll time himself. When he gets to that 5 minutes, he'll turn around, walk 5 minutes back. That's his 10-minute walk. You can do it anywhere, anytime. In the middle of like the most brutal winters, Hafthor Bjornsson, one of the world's strongest men, he's like 6 foot a million.
6 foot, like 10.
He deadlifted 1,003 by 2 last week.
Jesus.
Isn't that insane? He also will go for a 10-minute walk on like a treadmill after he eats. So
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Some of the world's strongest people do it.
Yeah.
Might be worth it.
And what you mentioned about like the restaurant thing, that makes sense because like I don't know what it is, but like I don't know if it's my family or like my friends, but every time we go out to eat, like we'll tend to like, if there's like a mall, like there's like a mall or something, or if it's like in the summertime, we'll just like walk around.
Yeah.
Or if you're feeling a little PHAT, you go to dinner and then you walk to the dessert place.
Nice.
So it's like you're getting 2 10-minute walks because you're getting to walk to the dessert to like ice cream or cookie place, and then you walk 10 more minutes to your car and go home.
I love it. That's good. Yeah, it works just as well. Why not, right?
Them blood sugars are growing all kinds of places, making all kinds of gains too.
Yes, all them gains, both. Number 5, it's great for your back and joints. Once again, for the joints, it does appear that frequent and volume controlled or volume managed walking has beneficial impacts on the joints. So it's good for the joints. And then also Stu Phillips, who's one of like the premier researchers on back health, he intros one of his recent books on why just a general walking practice is good for your back health, low back health. It's something to do with the mechanics of the spine moving in space, from what I understand. Like the general recommendation is to like swing your arms like pretty heavy when you're doing it. It appears to alleviate back pain for, or at least at the very least reduce back pain for many individuals.
Probably reduces DOMS in your own legs too.
Yeah.
Getting blood flow to your legs.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it like speeds up recovery, but it might create more of like a less of like a soreness feeling.
Yeah.
Potentially. Number 6, it can create a caloric restriction. That's like my own words, but the way Stan Effrington says 3 10-minute walks throughout the day are better than 1 30-minute walk at the end of the day. And I think that's to do with the process of like fuel mobilization. But he had cited some research, which if you're interested, you can go back through the video and he talks about that. Number 7, you live longer. It decreases all-cause mortality and significantly improves various health markers, such as lower blood sugar. I would take a pretty good guess in saying like lower cholesterol or triglycerides. So a lot of improved health markers there. Number 8, it can improve sleep. So if implemented after a last meal, such as dinner, and obviously before bed, it can decrease. It can reduce stress levels and improve circulation. Number 9, 10-minute walks may be superior to 10,000 steps a day because 3 10-minute walks, as was previously stated, took about 70% less time than walking 10,000 steps and provided 30% more moderate to intense physical activity, which provides health grade benefits, the moderate to physical activity. And number 10, lastly, great for growing or maintaining relationships with those that you participate with, like Antoine said. So
wow, I didn't even know that was on the list.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
No, I mean it just seems so simple, but I feel like a lot of people don't do it.
Yeah.
You know, like I was saying earlier, like just because it's wintertime, and if you are living in the states that are like ridiculously cold, you know, like a lot of people can get a treadmill pretty cheap. Like I bought my parents one for like not even $100 and something. It's like a little rinky dink one where you can't like run.
Yeah.
Like if you run, like, you know, I'm like almost bigger than a treadmill, but like if you walk in front of the TV after you eat, that's like perfectly fine.
Was it one of the manual ones?
No, it's not it's surprisingly not manual, but it's like small where the width is like my hip size.
Okay.
So it's like, you know, a regular treadmill is probably like about like twice the size.
Yeah.
And it's probably a little bit longer, but like this one, like you probably shouldn't be running on.
Yeah.
But like my parents don't run anyways. It just was something where, you know, my dad, you know, he's disabled, but like if he's able to walk like 3 or 4 times during the day for the 10-15 minutes, he's staying on track on losing weight, you know, and he's done a hell of a job.
Yeah.
So like that was like the main focus. Like, hey, like if it's wintertime, we don't want you getting hurt. And this probably can work for like the older population too. Like we don't want you to get hurt like walking and slipping on ice or walking downstairs and, you know, you could fall. You know, like, hey, why don't you use something where you can hold on to, walk slow, and I always say, like, if you're walking too fast, then just slow it down.
Yeah.
But like what Roma was saying, all those points, it's just so easy to like just put in your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And Roman and I might not do, you know, multiple 10-minute, because I think Roman and I do eat more than the normal person, especially Roman. So as long as that's why I'm glad he was saying like around 3. You would probably suggest maybe start off with 2 or 3 10-minute walks after you're done eating. But like if you're Roman and he eats like 7 times a day, he doesn't necessarily take 7 10-minute walks. Sure. Because if he did, he wouldn't have time for anything else.
Yeah. Eating and walking.
Yeah.
When do you work out? I can't. I have to eat, then I have to walk.
I gotta walk. What do you mean? I can't work out. Yeah. But no, I think that's a great, like I said, it's a great, easy way to build your lifestyle and build a better lifestyle. So yeah, I mean, do you want to get right into like the step counters? And, yeah. So yeah, as I say, like pretty much in general, like we're gonna be talking about like fitness bands, the apps, and the step counters. So to ease your reminder, it's, you know, hey, the Fitbits of the world, the Apple Watches, the Garmin watches, as well as like, you know, your standard pedometer. You can use one of those. That's a step counter. Yep. As well as apps like, you know, Map My Fitness, Fitbit. You can also map your own exercises. Apple Watch, they have the Health app as well as the Apple Watch app.
It's like Runkeeper I've used before.
Yeah, I mean, there's even Gravitas. I think I'm saying that right.
Wahoo is like a heart rate monitor that I was using, and they have like their own application for it too.
Yeah. So do you want me to go over like introduction more, and then you want to go over what you have, or?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. So pretty much depending on what you're looking at, like I'll go off of like a fitness band. Typical fitness band will have step counter, calories burned, and also heart rate on some of them, most of them.
Some have HRV now, like Whoop.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Whoop is ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
Don't even. I can't even. they do a monthly subscription. It's just stealing money. The only people who have Whoop are like athletes.
Yeah.
So,
And it does appear, I think Greg Knuckles talks about this in one of his recent Stronger by Science podcasts, but the science about HRV is like pretty like speculative.
yeah,
at this
it's
point.
like very low.
So we don't really, we can't say for certain that it is strongly correlated with recovery status. It's just like an interesting measure. So.
Yeah, I've owned Apple Watches, I've owned Fitbits, I've never owned like Garmin or anything else. But like my general take is what I use them for before like Roman gets into it and all that good stuff is most of the time just steps.
Yeah.
But like I know Roman's gonna say stuff like this, but like I always take it to the grain with a grain of salt, especially like the steps. Because if you think about it, like me talking, if you're watching the video, like I've moved my hands so much already because I talk with my hands,
Yeah.
and that's probably correlating steps.
Yeah.
So as much as it's like a good way to kind of get a good idea, just think about it this way: like you probably aren't getting that many steps, give or take. You probably should take like a couple hundred or maybe even like 1,000. In my opinion, like a couple hundred to 1,000 steps off.
Yeah.
But overall, if like you're hitting, like say if your goal was that 10,000 steps, but if you do the 3 10-minute walks, so if you apply both of those, you might want to like be like, hey, like maybe shoot for 11,000, and maybe that's a little bit more accurate. And then before Roman gets into, I want to say something short, like the heart rate thing and like the calories burned. It's just so hard to like manage because like you don't have something like glued to like your wrist as well as. What like you were saying, like Greg Knuckles says, like, you probably don't wear it as tight to like get that artery to like make sure like that thing's 100% accurate, and it makes sense. Like, plus I wouldn't want to wear something that tight. When I wear a fit, like I don't have one anymore because I broke my last one and I'm too cheap to buy another one. But like I don't wear it as tight because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But like if you want like a true step counter, I would say to put something by like your ankle. And then if you want something with like a heart monitor, do the classic, what were the chest straps? What are those called?
Oh, yeah. They're called a heart monitor, aren't they?
Yeah, the heart monitors that you plug under, like they say to put under your nipple.
Yeah.
Just around your
Supposed to like wet the electrodes.
Yeah. To wet it. That's probably the most accurate you're going to get. But if you want to take it from there.
No, that was all pretty good. I'd say, yeah, I would definitely just echo. There was like a paper that I had, but it's like, meh. It essentially found that like, and it was actually much more accurate than I thought. But the 4 different trackers that they used, it was 2 different Fitbits. One was it was a Polar M400, gapping on the 4th. There was like a 2 to 6% discrepancy in their accuracy, up to an 8%, and they essentially. The researchers, they had people walk 100 paces for 2 sets for like series of 100. So it'd be like walk up 100, walk back 100, etc. until you get to tenths, and you do it for 2 sets. So you can get pretty like accurate with that because like okay, they took 1,000 steps. They were between like 2 to 8% inaccurate, which actually is I've heard that they've been upwards of 20+% inaccurate, especially when it comes to like the calorie counter. Yeah. So that's not bad for a step counter. And I'd say like if you want to create a general movement goal, which I think we would both recommend, the place to start I think is generally around like 10,000. But if you are finding like if you check your like health app, which is like just that little like white background with like the little heart, it actually acts as a decent pedometer on your phone.
Yeah, but the only thing is you have to always have your phone on you.
That's true.
And that's the only bad thing is because every time like I go to the bathroom, every time I'm like cooking, like most of the time like I have my phone somewhere else.
Yeah.
So that's like the only downside of it. I mean, like what I mean, like even if I'm looking at my health app right now.
Yeah.
And it says I average about like January I averaged 9,300 steps. And like I said, that's probably I'm still averaging upwards of 10,000 because like I said, I don't have my phone on me, and if you know me personally, I go to the bathroom 100 times a day. Hashtag bad bladder problems. So if I'm at work, I take a good amount of steps because I go to like the further bathroom on our floor just to get more steps in. So like sometimes I don't have my phone on me; it's at my desk.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, and that's exactly something that you want to take with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But it is a way. Like
it's a way. If you don't want to buy,
if you didn't want to buy
watch.
like a Garmin, you didn't want to buy a Fitbit, you could definitely do that. And then if 10,000 seems like that's impossible to reach, like as a daily average, let's say you're at 5,000, just try for 6,000.
For like the next week or the next month.
It doesn't have to be a huge jump. It can be a fairly modest jump. It can be 550, and then just try and scale it up till there until you're happy with your movement or your weight loss or whatever it might be. But incorporating something like a 10-minute walk a few times a day is not a huge commitment, and you might see huge health benefits from it. So it's certainly worth looking into. Yeah,
I think it's great. I mean, I think I've had like a fitness band for the past like 5 years, 6 years. I mean, I don't have one now, like I said, but like I've kind of learned how much like I need to move throughout the day, and you can kind of tell as you learn your body. But like I think it's great for the person who doesn't care for that and wants something to do it for them.
Yeah.
And I think my general I don't know if Roman stands on the same opinion, but like I wouldn't suggest looking at the calories burned so much. I would just try to go off the movement. I would try to just make sure your movement just increases if that's a goal, or if you want to start somewhere. Like Roman was saying, 5,000, 6,000, and you can. And if you're trying to cut weight, that's an easy, like way to kind of like guarantee that it helps you lose weight. Now, that being said, if your calories if you're recording your food or you're doing, if you're eating by the way you feel, okay, that's half the battle, right?
Yeah.
So that's maybe more or less than half the battle. Yeah. So I would just honestly, what made me successful with like competing in bodybuilding was looking at my steps and how much I moved throughout the day.
Yeah.
Because if I know, like I was lazy on a weekend, like the whole first half of the day, then maybe the second half, maybe go for a long walk or do some cardio at the gym or something. Yeah. Because like if you think about it, also what the bad thing is about being on your wrist, I don't know if, have you owned one?
I used it for like a year, and then like same thing, it kind of broke, and I was like, whatever.
Screw it. But like if you think about it, like if you're on a treadmill and like, a lot of people, I mean, most of the time natural movement is you do walk with your arms, but if you put your arms up, like those people that put their arms up on the treadmill, those steps aren't counting.
Yeah.
So like think about it that way too. So like if that could be inaccurate, if like you're doing cardio before or after you're lifting, like, I mean, my dedicated ass would take the band off and put it in my pocket if I did that.
Yeah.
So like the vibrations and the movement would count the steps. But if you're not like me and not take it that serious, then it might not be that serious.
Yeah.
But if like, I was competing for bodybuilding, so like when I was on the Stairmaster, I would put like the fitness band in my sock or in my pocket. So it would count those steps, because on the Stairmaster, like most of the time I never really did like, I didn't use my arms. I would just hold on to something so I could do, just the stairs.
Yeah.
So I didn't even realize that either. Yeah. Totally forgot. The opposite could happen.
Yeah.
Those steps, you need to count them steps, baby.
Yeah, so it definitely can mess with you. But those are some great tips on if you wanted to, take that as a metric. I would say don't use it in isolation. It has to be used with other things like, what your food quality is. If you're just eating 4 bags of Doritos chips a day, maybe not great for weight loss. So use it in conjunction with other metrics. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out to us. There's multiple mediums that you can reach us. We're more than happy to help guide you, push you in the right direction. If you need that helpful push, we're not gonna push you out the window, but
we'll pull you in instead. Yeah. But lastly, also a side note, as a joke, don't bring the fitness watches or your phones in a sauna. because I'm pretty sure I've broken 2 of them like
Yeah.
that. I would just sit in the sauna, and I never brought my phone, but you could tell, I think moisture gets in there. Yeah, you might get a shock too. Just don't bring it to the sauna. But anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. It's always a pleasure. Follow us, like us, comment, subscribe. Tell your friends, coworkers. Tell your coworkers, mamas.
Mamas.
Babies, mamas. And we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.